Well, today is September 30th, the last day of the month of September. However, across the Pacific Ocean, a day ahead of us, we received the saddened news of the passing of Antonio Inoki, professional wrestler who pioneered pro wrestling and also the founder of one of the top Japanese wrestling promotions in Japan, New Japan Pro Wrestling. It is the most saddest day ever. I know he paved the way for a lot of Japanese wrestlers, but he will always be remembered for a lot of his accomplishments and all that. He will be missed, but never forgotten. So today on this episode, we will dedicate this to him. And of course, what we'll be reviewing is Circle 6's latest event, Bite It You Scum, AEW Rampage, and NXT Level Up. And of course, we got some news updates to find out what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, let's begin with the latest Circle 6 event, Bite It You Scum. This took place on the 18th of September recently. I did not know this one existed, but I hardly keep up what's been going on with Circle 6, but I should have been more vigilant on that, but I'm here to do it right now. We have, of course, King of the Indies qualifying match. We have Viento versus Rey Horus. Now, you probably would assume this is one of those matches. As you know, there's going to be this event taking place later on called King of the Indies. I did not know they were going to have a qualifying match, but this one was pretty good. But I was surprised that Viento somehow was able to pick up a win when he applied a inside cradle, due to the fact that the reason Rey Horus dropped the ball, he got distracted, and it gave Viento the opportunity to pick up the win. Now, you probably would assume Rey Horus would have won it, but Viento took the advantage and got it. Now, the Smoke Shop consisted of members of the 440, mostly Gregory Irons and, of course, Eddie O'Neill. As you know, they've been conflicted over the situation that's been going on and brewing with the actions of RSP for what he did to Acticus Cogar in that celebration in Cleveland, Ohio. Now, I get the 440 trying to make peace with these two guys. Now, Acticus Cogar said this when he came out, that if you wanted a shot of the title, all you had to do was ask. It was simple. So he was waiting outside. Now, at first, I don't know if Acticus Cogar is being all paranoid and all, because he thought that maybe they were involved in a setup. But Eddie Only and Gregory Irons assured him that this had nothing to do with that. They're not here to cause a problem. So RSP had no show whatsoever. But however, later on, when of course Eddie Only and Iron were in trying to get the hold of RSP to find out where he is at. Kevin Visa said he spotted him earlier, so there was no luck. So basically, they're trying to get this piece going. But the obvious question is, what is going on in the mind of RSP? Why did he betray Acticus Cogar? We won't know, but I'll probably make that as a talk about on the podcast this coming Wednesday, and we'll see how that goes. Now, our next match we have is Alan Angels, formerly known as Five, taking on Cody Lane. I thought this match was pretty good, because as you know, Alan Angels has been making a name for himself ever since then, and I'm like very happy about the match, how it goes. Um, but Fortunately, it was Cody Lane with the underhook pile driver that sealed the deal for him to win the match. So basically, that's how it ended. Now, our next match, we have Kata Murray taking on Jay Chris. Now, you know this was going to be one of those matches that's definitely going to be a banger. But however, this match ended with the lights out by Chris, giving him the win. Now, next up, we have, of course, secondhand smoke, consistent of Gregory Iron and Eddie Only, taking on Ray Shit, consistent of Ray Rosas and Rob Shit. Now, however, Rob did not have a partner earlier then, but he called in Ray Rosas. Now, he wouldn't mind doing things on his own, but he called him up. You probably would have assumed it would have been a much different dynamic, but however, there was some misfires from both Rosas and Rob Shit, but it did not go well for them. But it did give time for of course doing a pin, only to do a pin onto Rosas to give him the win. Now, our next match, we have Tyler Bateman versus Rocky Romero. It was a pretty good match. As you know, they have come across each other before in the past in New Japan Strong, but this is a very different matter. But it was, of course, the agility and a little bit of the speed with Rocky Romero that picked up the win when he applied a somewhat of a sliced bread type move. I think that's what it was. He did not use the turnbuckle, and he won in that fashion. Now, our next match, it's a number one's contendership for the Circle 6 World title. It's between Kevin Giza and Zachary Wentz. Now, Giza, as you know, he wanted to get an opportunity to go to win the title, but it was messed up by him thanks to Vincent Nothing. I think that's what it's called himself. But however, this is an opportunity for Giza. Now, I thought this match was a total banger, but it was Zachary Wentz with the UFO cutter that kind of sealed the deal for him, and now he will be facing Atticus Cogar, presumably next month in October. But here's the thing. Zachary Wentz already has a win over him in a non-title match, which before the Circle 6 World title has ever been official. So we'll see how that goes. Now, our next match is a hardcore tag team match. We got the Young Studs, Bobby Beverly and Eric Ryan, taking on the debut of Brian Kendrick and Nate Webb, who are good friends. Now, Nate Webb had his issues towards 440 in the past. However, Eddie Only and the rest of 440 made it clear that once they're done with this match, they want him gone. Like, they don't want nothing to do with him. Because right now, the only thing that's going on 440's focus is trying to repair the damage that's going on within 440. As I mentioned, RSP and Atticus Cogar. So basically, that's what they're going. But they were able to hold their own. They did not waver them, but they pulled off a double brainbuster onto Kendrick to pick up the win. Next match, we have a lights tube death match. We have Jeff Cannon versus Dale Patrick. Now, Dale Patrick has been one of those wrestlers we've been seeing mostly on ICW No Holds Bars. He has done a great job doing this type of matches. You probably wouldn't expect it, but however, he did a DDT with the light tubes onto Cannonball to pick up the win. Now, you may say it's an upset, but he picked up a trick from his tag partner, Ace Perry. Now, our main event is the Circle 6 World title in a death match. We got Arrow Boy versus Atticus Cogar. Now, Atticus Cogar really had everything under control, but of course, someone decided to play RSP's music. We don't know how long this distraction was going, but it did happen. Unfortunately, it did not help, what's his name, Arrow Boy, but it did allow for Atticus Cogar to pick up the win when he applied screws on his head, and then, of course, the brain hemorrhage with the screws on top of glass, making sure to retain the win. Now, what's going to happen now? We don't know what's the scenario with RSP. We do know right now, after this, Zachary Wentz just gets a shot of the world title. So we'll see after that in the upcoming event, hopefully coming up soon. So I think let's move on with AEW Rampage. Okay, AEW Rampage opened up with the AEW World Tag Team titles on the line in a three-way match. Team number one is none other than Private Party, Isaiah Cassidy, and Mark Quinn versus the Butcher and the Blade versus our tag champions, the Acclaim, Max Caster, and Anthony Bowens. Now, here's the best part about this match. You know that these two teams, both the Private Party and Butcher and the Blade, they both work for Andrade, but recently there has been a lot of dissensions in that camp. Now, this could fall in the favor of course, the Acclaim, but however, they don't have to be pinned in this match. That's a factor that is being played, but luckily it did not fall into that category. Luckily, they were able to, Max Caster and Anthony Bowens were able to apply first the mic drop onto the Blade, and then of course Bowens was able to pin the Blade 1, 2, 3 that retained the titles. And then we can't wait to see what's going to happen when they go to DC, National Scissors Day. Now, as you know, there was an interview with the firm. As you know, the Gun Club mostly are right now, they feel like they want to once again go up to the top to get tag team titles, and they decided to disrespect the top guys, of course, FTR and all this and that, proving that they are nothing. You know, they refuse. They haven't even cashed in their right to challenge for the AEW World Tag Team titles. That is something that's been true, but you know, we will see what happens then. We know that the firm have targeted what championships they want to get. Now, we do get another interview with Jade Cargill along with Layla Gray. As you know, Jade has been happy because Trina is now by her side. But however, it appears that things are not going well because Nyla Rose, along with Marina Shafir and Vicky, want to have a shot at her, knowing that they can see if they can be the ones to defeat her. However, they humiliated Layla Gray in order to prove a point. Now, Lee Moriarty, along with Stokely Hathaway and Morrissey, Lee faces, of course, Fuego del Sol. This match ended up in a very tight submission. As you know, Lee Moriarty this is his first appearance in quite some time since he aligned himself with Stokely, but he did a pretty good performance by defeating Fuego by applying like a crossface type submission, forcing him to tap out. But however, Morrissey comes out and double chokes him to send a direct message to anybody that stands in their way. However, as you know, Lee Moriarty already has one thing in his sight, is the ROH Pure Championship. Now, we do get an interview with Hangman Page. As you know, it's no secret now that he will be facing Jon Moxley. It all comes to full circle for him in certain aspects, but however, while he's been there, he had members of the Dark Order, Evil, Uno, and Ten. But of course, Andrade had sick and tired of trying to convince Ten to jump the bandwagon. So he decided, you know, I'm going to challenge you for your mask. But Evil Uno came up saying, how about this? You put your career on the line. So that is a very interesting stipulation. But however, as you know, we're seeing a rivalry from other factions. But mostly, as soon as Hangman, Evil Uno, and Ten left, Andrade has to deal with Stokely Hathaway and Ethan Page. They started to stir the pot. As you know, they tell him that Matt Hardy has been trying to get close to the Private Party, violating the contract terms. So Andrade clearly has no clue what's been going on with them. Now, our next match, we have Willow Nightingale and, of course, Jamie Hayter. This particular match happened right after that match in the Lumberjack with Serena Deeb and Toni Storm. This was one of those matches where, of course, they decided to get involved. It was a pretty good match, but however, Britt Baker got involved once again in order to ensure Jamie Hayter won, and she picked up the win. However, there's a lot of fans that believe that she should be champion right about now. Now, our next match, as you know, we're in the city of Philadelphia. Ryan Meth, being a prick that he is, decided to insult the people of Philadelphia due to the fact it's the home and birth of none other than ECW. And of course, Hook, whose father we all know completely, Taz, was a part of the ECW roster. He manhandled him, beat him down like a freaking twig. But however, as soon as he was leaving, he was basically, Trustbusters showed up, sent him an envelope. Now, it wouldn't be surprised they want to recruit him, but they know they need to keep their distance. He doesn't know them. He doesn't interact with them. Only with certain people, like his dad, possibly still with Danhausen. So it all depends who is good friends with him. But however, we don't know what exactly is Ari Daivari is planning. But we'll see what happens. Now, our main event, we have Rush taking on John Silver. This particular match, it was all Rush. He was like trying to beat the hell out of him in every aspect. He doesn't play games. He tries to soften them up in every aspect. But however, only X factors from both sides. Silver has Reynolds by his side to take him on. But of course, Rush had Andrade and Jose. But of course, they pulled off their distractions. But it did not work because of course, John Silver received the bullhorns by Rush, giving him the win. And as soon as that match was over, it became a beatdown onto Silver. But of course, Uno and Ten came for the save, and then of course the Butcher and the Blaze showed up. And then once again, Hangman Adam Page shows up to have a little in for the save, but he was about close enough to Buckshot Larry Rush, and of course he left. But that little guinea pig Jose was there, and he was the one who suffered the Buckshot Lariat. So I thought it was pretty fun. So anything could happen right now. As we see, we're gonna see what's gonna happen this coming Wednesday in DC, which is where the first ever television show in AEW has ever taken place. So we'll see what happens then. So let's move on to our final review, NXT Level Up. Okay, welcome to news updates. So let's get started. PW Insider has reported that Vice TV are now producing a new documentary about Vince McMahon that will focus from his time as when he debuted all the way to his retirement. And this particular documentary will be released in October of this year. Still no clear what date completely, but we do know it's going to be in October. As you know, he just recently retired from WWE due to the controversial allegations against him and all this and that. It was really interesting that Vice TV are making this documentary, because we know that they want things to become what WWE says they want, but we'll see. Now, our next update, as you know, RCW in Spain, a promotion out of Spain, has, if you guys remember, they are holding their upcoming event called the World Cup 3, where we have a lot of wrestlers actually wrestling. However, their latest edition, representing the United Kingdom, is none other than Millie McKenzie. I have to say, is a good choice. I like it. I forgot who's represent. Oh yeah, Maya Yuki is representing Japan, but we do know in that very particular tournament, Miyu Yamashita is going to be there, but not involved in the tournament, but in the event itself. And finally, Warrior Wrestling, for their upcoming event on the 2nd, on the 25th, on the 2nd, they announced that Eddie Kingston will be absent for their upcoming event due to the fact because he lived in the South, affected by the Hurricane Ian. He took a lot of damage in his house, and not only just his, so is his mother. So he will not be able to make it. But however, he is going to be replaced by none other than Jay Lethal, and the opponent that Kingston was supposed to face, but now Jay Lethal has to face, is none other than Calvin Tegman, along with that dumbass clown. Frank the Clown is going to be there. Yeah, I really hate that clown. So I think that's pretty much it what we have. So I believe it's time to call it a day. Okay, welcome to news updates. So let's get started. PW Insider has reported that Vice TV are now producing a new documentary about Vince McMahon that will focus from his time as when he debuted all the way to his retirement. And this particular documentary will be released in October of this year. Still no clear what date completely, but we do know it's going to be in October. As you know, he just recently retired from WWE due to the controversial allegations against him and all this and that. It was really interesting that Vice TV are making this documentary, because we know that they want things to become what WWE says they want, but we'll see. Now, our next update, as you know, RCW in Spain, a promotion out of Spain, has, if you guys remember, they are holding their upcoming event called the World Cup 3, where we have a lot of wrestlers actually wrestling. However, their latest edition, representing the United Kingdom, is none other than Millie McKenzie. I have to say, is a good choice. I like it. I forgot who's represent. Oh yeah, Mayuki is representing Japan, but we do know in that very particular tournament, Miyu Yamashita is going to be there, but not involved in the tournament, but in the event itself. And finally, Warrior Wrestling, for their upcoming event on the 2nd, on the 25th, on the 2nd, they announced that Eddie Kingston will be absent for their upcoming event due to the fact because he lived in the South, affected by the Hurricane Ian. He took a lot of damage in his house, and not only just his, so is his mother. So he will not be able to make it. But however, he is going to be replaced by none other than Jay Lethal, and the opponent that Kingston was supposed to face, but now Jay Lethal has to face, is none other than Calvin Tegman, along with that dumbass clown. Frank the Clown is going to be there. Yeah, I really hate that clown. So I think that's pretty much it what we have. So I believe it's time to call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, I still have no clue what I'm going to be throwing. I know for a fact I got New Japan Strong. As we speak, we should be starting with the last day of the 5-star Grand Prix. I know everybody's totally excited. Me, I have only a few people that could win. I'm not going to say it until it happens. I'm not sure if I'll be watching it. That's something I cannot, how to say, put out. I still haven't seen the last event that took place on the 24th, since I did not see it. Hopefully I get to see it and catch up with the first. That way we can make an understanding what's been taking place. But we'll see who walks out as the winner. So I think that's pretty much it. So I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day.